Hey guys, hope that you're all doing well and being kind to each other and to Mrs. Merkel. I'm obviously away taking care of the sick baby who's having the surgery today. So think of us. Just a little instruction for the day. So this is for you and for just to help you along with what you need to do. So first up, I hope that you've all studied, because first we're going to be writing that test. And you know what? I think that it is fair that this is specifically for the grade 9s. You probably arrived a little flustered for your morning. I'm just going to go over the notes with you, just to refresh your mind. And then you'll start your test at 8 o'clock. Okay. And then after the test, you'll carry on with your film projects. So the grade 8s and the grade 9s and the other classes have already begun with their filming, and it's looking really awesome so far. Okay, so what you need to study is all in that PDF. I hope that you had a look at it. It's all in Google Classrooms. All this info is there. And what we are doing is the introduction to cinema, specifically looking at Edward Muybridge. And you should have a good understanding of that already from our discussions in the class. You need to understand the early development of film and how it was kind of invented, right? And what we need to focus on is movement as a scientific and an artistic problem. So we've discussed how often artists push society forward because they come up with these crazy solutions that no one's thinking about. And often there's a scientific component to that. So that's how art and science holds hands and pushes technology and the way things are done forward. So Edward Muybridge, being a photographer, we call him an artist, even though he was probably more of a little bit of a scientist and a documenter. All these roles hold hands. So what was that question? Can anyone remember? Why were people trying to understand movement? So if you've had a discussion amongst yourselves or you've raised your hands, I'm hoping that the question that came up was, do horses' hooves, when they're galloping, all leave the ground at the same time? And then if they do, are they all outstretched in front of them, or are they tucked in underneath their body? So how does the horse look in motion? And then how do other animals and even humans look? The inquiry went even further. So before that, artists had to use a lot of guesswork, so they weren't completely accurate, even if some of them were very close. This is the first time where you're able to freeze time. Photograph is like freezing time, and look at the subject for what it is in that moment. And that's what Edward Muybridge did, but just on a different scale. So he used a sequence of cameras, or a sequence of images, to photograph this moment that happened over several seconds. So more than one photograph was needed to capture the moment that the horse was what they were looking for. And the happy accident was that he saw that if you play these clips or these still frames in a sequence, in an order and a sequence, they actually appear to move. So there's that illusion of movement. And that is also, where we have the conversations around persistence of vision. So your brain is able to hold on to the information it saw before. And I can see that a cloud passed over. I'm just changing my settings slightly to brighten it up. There you go. Looks better. Is that too bright? Am I out of focus now? There we go. Okay, and cameras have evolved so much that I can operate it by touching the screen. But before then it was a big wagon that you had to move around with all these chemicals and metal plates and things inside it. And now, look how easy it is to communicate with you. And he's kind of the godfather of that. So remember what persistence of vision means? That the brain briefly holds onto the image, and then before it disappears, you see the next image, and then it holds onto that image. So all these images blend into one, and it appears to be like what you're seeing. You can hear me and see me moving around, but it's actually every second that passes, you're seeing 25 images of me on the screen. Think of it like that. Okay, so I appear to be moving, and you're right, I am moving, but essentially it's just a whole lot of images that you're seeing, and your brain is stitching it all together. Then we also need to really think about film shots, the type of shots and their functions, and we specifically for the grade 8s looked at 5 shots, and for the grade 9s we looked at a few more. So for the grade 8s, a wide shot, generally used to establish your scene. It tells me where you are in the world, whether you're in space, whether you're at school, whether you're in a kitchen, whether you're in Seattle, because I can see the Seattle Tower, those who watch Grey's Anatomy, or if something's shot in Joburg, you'll probably see either the Sandton or the CBD towers, you know. That's one way of giving you landmarks. If it's shot in Cape Town, what are you going to show me? Table Mountain, right? Either a drone shot or someone close to the ocean. Maybe you don't need to know exactly where it is, but a wide shot, it establishes things, but it also, if it is used in the film, just gives context as to what's happening in the environment and the surroundings, how the environment is impacting the subject. Okay, so you can also pack more people into a wide shot, and it's less, I suppose, intimate, right? If it's wide, it's my whole body, so you're not seeing the close-up. That's a close-up. It's a mid shot, and then a wide would be me inside the entire classroom. Yeah, okay. So then what is a medium shot? Generally from your waist up, and it shows a little bit of the environment, but also you have a connection to the person that you're looking at. And then a close-up, what does that do? It's it can either make you feel really uncomfortable, or it can make you really like or dislike somebody. But it's, I suppose it shows emotion clearly on the face and helps the audience connect with the character. A low angle shot. Low angle would be looking up at me, and I'd be superior to everybody else, right? Powerful and dominant. And then if you're looking down at me, I appear inferior and maybe a little bit vulnerable. The camera would generally tilt down at this point, but I'm not going to do that. So that's for the grade 8s. For the grade 9s, your additional shots are the Dutch tilt. Now the Dutch tilt is... Oh, something's not right in my world. That's the Dutch tilt. Okay, so it shows that something's off balance, it's not sitting right. So it's just taking your camera and flipping it 45 degrees, so everything kind of feels a bit lopsided. So impending doom, something is going down, it's unstable, or perhaps even sinister, or some kind of realization. But generally it happens before some big calamitous thing happens. Then over the shoulder shots, so that's when the camera, there would be a camera over my shoulder looking at you, the viewer, right? And it would be a dialogue shot. And then vice versa. Camera would be looking over your shoulder and looking at me, and then I'd be conversing with you, not engaging with this camera over here. That's over the shoulder for dialogue. Okay, it can be positive or negative. It could be conflict or it could be loving. Just seeing two people engaging with each other in a shot. Then we have something called the POV, or the point of vision shot, and this shows I suppose, exactly what the character is seeing. So if I mounted the camera to me and it was looking at the world, some POVs or body rigs also look at the subject while they're busy running around. The camera moves with them as they're moving. The character's perspective, it inserts the viewer into the world of the film and the happening. And then I think that covers it. Also, I gave you the PDF in your Google Classrooms, and all the information is there if you want to have a look at that one more time. But you will do well in your test, because I said it with you in mind, not to try to trick you out. I did make it challenging enough, but you should be fine. After the test, I think you'll need a little bit of a brain break. I think that there's a break for the grade 8s, but I think that the grade 9s can also just have a few minutes just to re-establish their thinking, have a snack, have some water, come back, and then we begin with filming. So I hope that you brought your props, the wardrobe changes, costumes, any items that you might need for your scene, cameras if you're using them, audio if you're using those, and you need to get cracking with filming. And I will have a look as I come back next week at what you've filmed. You can also use your own time to carry on filming, or to carry on developing your world or your script or your narrative, or finding the right music. I advise that you do that. There's a lot of work that goes into a film. By now you're probably realizing it's far more planning than what you might have imagined. So well done so far. I'm going to extend the timeline a little bit. I don't think we're going to finish this term, so we want to finish the filming at the very least, and then we will present our films all together, probably in the auditorium with popcorn and all, and make a little bit of a cinematic viewing. Remember your posters as well. Every film needs a good poster, right? If you don't know what I'm talking about, just think of a film. Avatar, I can think of the poster immediately. Twilight, I can think about those posters quite quickly. Star Wars, what do you see on them? You generally see font, title, you see people's roles in the film, and you see a really cool artwork. It doesn't always have to be complicated, it can be quite basic. Look around my classroom, you'll see a calendar up there that has very vintage film posters. You can see what they used to look like, and you can Google and do your own research as to how you want your poster to look. That's just to keep in mind while you're doing all of this. Good luck for your film, and best of luck for your test. You will all be fine. And if you're stressing, remember that Mrs. Merkel will be happy to read the instructions for the whole class before it begins. And if you get to your essay and you are desperate to have a scribe, I'm pretty sure that Mrs. Merkel will also sit with you and just help you write out your long format answers. Okay, so you'll be great, and I'll see you next week. Have a fabulous day ahead, a great Friday, because I won't be here. I'll be taking care of a child, not you children, a different child, my own one. And then have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.